Hi everybody, I'm Ms. Lee. I'm going to go over a few chain rule practice problems. We're going to be taking the derivative of a couple of expressions, and I'm going to show you how. So for this one, f of x equals 6x cubed minus 2x to the fourth. You can tell you have to use the chain rule because you have a function inside of another function. So you can see that there's like all of this to the fourth power. So anytime you can see something like this where you can like cover up some inside and then it's like all like something happening to it, that's going to be a composite function, basically a function within a function. And so you'll be able to use the chain rule. So we'll go ahead and cover this up. And so we have something to the fourth power. So if you do something to the fourth power, you take the derivative of that. That's going to be 4 times that something to the third power. 4 times that something to the third power. Okay. And so as you guys know from the chain rule, we're going to go ahead and keep the inside the same. So you leave the 6x cubed minus 2x the same. And then we're going to multiply by the derivative of the inside. So just to reiterate here, this inside function stays exactly the same here. And then we're going to take the derivative of that. Okay, so the derivative of 6x cubed, you can kind of carry the 6 over because that's a constant on the outside. So 6, and then times the derivative of x cubed. That's going to be 3x squared. And then minus, so because it's subtraction, you can just take the derivative of each part separately. What's the derivative of 2x? Well, the derivative of 2x is just 2 because that's a line, and so it's just going to be the slope of the line, and so that'll just be 2. Okay, and so we'll go ahead and just simplify just a little bit. So we have f prime of x equals 4 times 6x cubed minus 2x, all to the third power, and then times 18x squared minus 2. Okay, so just to reiterate, this was the derivative of that inside there, right there, and that's still the derivative. Okay, so I underline my derivatives and I highlight like the originals. Okay. All right, so find g prime of pi given that g of x equals negative 4 times sine squared of x. So for this one, what sometimes confuses people is the notation. So having that squared there kind of confuses people. So we're going to go ahead and start by rewriting in a way that's more familiar. And so if you rewrite this, it'll be the same as g of x equals negative 4 times, and then in parentheses, sine of x all squared. Okay, so as you guys can see there, there is a function all squared. So that means that there's an inside function. This is a composite function. And so you want to recognize that you should be using the chain rule. And so we say g prime of x equals, and then we'll carry the negative 4 down because that's a constant. A constant on the outside always stays on the outside. And so with the derivative, we can just leave that negative 4 there. And then we're going to do times the derivative of something squared. Well, what's the derivative of like x squared? That's just 2x, right? So we bring the 2 down and say, so times 2 times and sine of x to the 2 minus 1 power. And 2 minus 1 is just 1. And so that's why often we don't put that there. But then since we covered something up, you don't want to forget to multiply by the derivative of that inside. So the derivative of sine of x, we can look at our formula sheet. The derivative of sine of x is cosine of x, cosine of x. Okay, so just to reiterate, anytime you have some inside function that you like leave, you need to multiply by the derivative. You need to multiply by the derivative. And so there we have it. This is g prime of x. Now we're going to want to plug in pi. And we'll simplify a little while we're at it. Okay, so g prime of pi would be, well, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8, so we leave that as negative 8 times, and then sine of pi, all to the 2 minus 1 power was just 1, so we leave it as 1, and then times cosine of pi. Okay, so we'll go ahead and simplify this a little bit. So you have g prime of pi equals -8 times, well, sine of pi, if you remember your unit circle, that's just going to be 0 times cosine of pi. Well, cosine of pi is also on your unit circle. Cosine of pi would be at the coordinate -1, 0. So cosine of pi is -1. Okay, and this all simplifies to 0. So 0 is your final answer. Okay. Happy day.